Recording. I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling this. We got some posy vibes going on today. We are
Oh,
in some gear right now. So Forrest is rocking his "Don't Be a Hero" podcast tee. I, for one, I'm not rocking the "Don't Be a Hero" podcast tee, but I am rocking
shocking.
an "I Am Groot" hat with an "I
Yes.
Am Groot" t-shirt. Because why, my friend? Why am I dressed like this?
Because we're about to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, yes, we are. I already feel far better than last week. What about you?
I feel I've got no COVID, so I'm already feeling better. The cough has dissipated
Oh,
to
you sound
practic.
better, mate. You sound great.
Honestly, man, I feel great. It's we're back to familiar ground.
Yep.
Doctor Strange and the American accents are gone.
Park that. Leave that over there.
They're
Put it on the
disappeared for a
shelf.
time being, and we've got some familiar folks.
We really do.
And I'm going to go straight in and say my favourite intro to a film I mean this in any film ever.
100,000 million trillion zillion %, my friend.
Like this,
Yeah.
I remember being in the cinema and watching that intro, and I'm talking about listening to Mr. Blue Sky, watching them just defeat the beast whilst Groot is just having a little duck. Honestly, I remember watching that in the cinema and thinking that just blew my mind. And I even if I don't watch a whole film, I will
Yeah.
watch that 5 to 10 minutes,
Yeah.
just to see it. I mean, insanely good.
It's
Insane.
perfect. It's perfect. But yeah, right. Team, dear listener, welcome to another episode. Welcome to Don't Be a Hero podcast, where we are just about to, well, we've already started to deep dive and to review Guardians of the Galaxy. Duh.
Oh yeah.
So I think you're right. I think this is the best intro to an MCU movie there is.
I would almost go as far to say any film ever, mate. I don't think I've ever seen not to reintroduce us to characters perfectly,
Yeah.
to the whole graphics of the scene, like
The
the
visual
art
effects
design.
of this movie is chef's kiss.
On point.
Chef's kiss.
Lovely kiss. The choice of song, what
Yeah.
a tune.
Yeah.
I listened to it this evening because
you?
I knew we were going to do this. I came in from work. We got a brand new Google Hub downstairs. So
Nice.
I asked our little friend Google to play Mr. Blue Sky whilst I was washing up the dishes.
Do you know what? There's a certain covers band that play that song really well, and they're called Jam Jar Band. And you should definitely look at them on Instagram with Jam Jar Band. You might find a familiar face. It might be me playing guitar. But I love playing that song in my covers band. And it's
Wow.
little
Wow.
plug there. I threw that in there. Did you see it?
Shameless self-promotion. That is fucking ludicrous. Wow. I'm going to fine you for that, mate. Jesus Christ.
Honestly, that was I was on the
Jesus.
tip of my tongue for about 3 days since I watched it. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, it's Mr. Blue Sky. We play that. But anyway, yeah, no, it is a brilliant beginning. The visual arts, the visual effects of this movie, it just needs immediately on the offset, just needs a just a round of applause. Like, it really is genuinely a spectacle in so many ways. And on Disney Plus have the 4K thing now, don't they? You can see it in 4K, and when you watch it in 4K, you're like, holy crap! Look at that! Like, it's a spectacle. There's no better word to describe it. But that beginning, with Groot dancing around with the Guardians fighting this massive gloopy alien, and it's action packed, it's funny.
You get all the characterization of each character as well. You know exactly who each character is.
Yeah.
And all they're doing is reacting in the background, and normally telling Groot off, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's just like the perfect beginning. Like, and for me, straight off the back, I'm thinking, to beat I don't know how they're gonna equal or beat it in Guardians 3. How the hell are they gonna open that film?
Do you know what? I they've got massive shoes to fill with this successful movie, part 2. But I feel like they will. I'm positive because they have. I'm going to talk about this golden thread again today, but like in terms of what the Guardians have established, in terms of what their movies are about, this is following on from what was already started to be spoken about in this part of the movie. I forgot that. So, for instance, I'm talking about the Sovereign, so I'm talking about Adam Warlock being suggested in this movie, and I forgot. I was like, oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting for.
They're paving that way already.
We go to pretty much every Marvel film, or we have done for a while anyway. And I always mention to you about Adam Warlock, don't I?
You do,
because I remember them bringing him in at this point. But and I would love to know, Kevin, if you're listening, whether it was initially designed that we would be waiting this long.
Yeah,
because it is a substantial gap between, and also I might be wrong with what I'm about to say, but I'm pretty sure there's no specific scene about Adam from now on. I think it goes pretty apart.
The end credits, apart from the end credits.
Oh no, sorry, I mean after this film.
All right. Oh no, yeah, you're right.
Like after this film, we don't hear it's all online everywhere. Like fans, truly, quite rightly excited. But the only. Oh no, it's not even Harry Styles' character in the end credit. That was
no.
They're not connected. They are. I think they're going to be part of it though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible.
But yeah, okay, so Guardians 2 came out in 2017, and Guardians 3 is not coming out until what, next year?
I know.
End of next year or something like that?
And also this at the very end of the film, this is so far the first and definitely one of a few, or possibly the only. At the end of this film, it says Guardians will return right at the beginning of the credits. Normally, you don't get that until right at the end.
Yeah.
So it is this film. They knew they wanted the Guardians back straight away. It's been a long time. I think I would probably assume we would have got an earlier Guardians film than this year. I got a feeling.
I think so. Yeah.
COVID and scheduling, because someone like Chris Pratt has been in fucking everything at the moment. So it must be scheduling conflicts. And James Gunn, quite frankly, has been busy. So, there must be a whole kind of schedule, because to have that big of a gap, especially when you already know the plot, you know it's going to be Adam. So it's quite.
I like to think that they probably would have gone for Thor: Love of Thunder, and brought that kind of wrapped that round in terms of that, as they did with the movie, and then kind of a few months later, they would have gone straight to Guardians 3.
Yeah.
To kind of continue that kind of story.
Oh yeah, because that is true. Actually, there is that thread, isn't there? But
that's post Endgame, isn't it? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I suppose Endgame could have been rewritten. I suppose if they knew Guardians 3 was possible earlier than it was, then Endgame didn't have to end that Thor was with them.
No.
Do you know
No,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
and then Love and Thunder, because that was such a blink and you'll miss it moment in Love and
yeah.
Thunder anyway. So they could have rewritten that. So it almost
That's true.
feels like
Actually, I was actually
you
quite
know,
surprised. Thor: Love and Thunder. I was quite surprised that the Guardians weren't in it that much. Though you'd probably say there were probably 5 minutes of screen time,
yeah, and
if that.
they were in all of the trailers as well. So it's a
Yeah.
little bit absurd to have them in. So yeah, I think there's definitely been some kind of rewriting
Yeah.
of them featuring.
But yes,
Would you like a synopsis?
do you know what? That was literally what I was about to say, my friend. I want to hear a synopsis. I want to feed it to me. Come on, give it to me. Let's go.
Chew this one up. Peter Quill and his fellow Guardians are hired by a powerful alien race, the Sovereign, to protect their precious batteries from invaders. When it is discovered that Rocket has stolen the items they were sent to guard, the Sovereign dispatch their armada to search for vengeance. As the Guardians try to escape, the mystery of Peter's parentage is revealed. Nice.
Nice.
To the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. The Sovereign I mentioned.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how much of an integral part the Sovereign played in the plot of the movie.
Okay.
Like I thought it. I don't know. This must be memory, but like when I watched it the first time, I thought they were just highlighted in the first part of the movie, and that was it. But they are kind of in it as it goes. And I know it goes off into the ego tangent and who's your daddy kind of situation, but like, yeah, they are there.
I've got I thought I mean he is in it a lot, but I thought Yondu was actually in it a bit more. Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, he is definitely in more than enough of it anyway. But yeah, I definitely thought he featured a bit more. So yeah, it's one of those films where I knew it was good, but I've definitely forgotten a lot about it.
What do you in that synopsis is great. I think it's good. Seeing as we're talking about synopsis, just quick kind of thoughts on plot. How did you feel like the plot was for this movie?
So I thought the general plot was good. I thought it's quite hard. I think they don't really make a lot of the fact that Rocket has stolen the batteries for me. Like
No.
but then the thing is, you watch these films, and because we're watching them back again, sometimes you're like, I don't know, because me and Matt write notes, so or sometimes you're a bit like you're writing a note and then something else has happened. But I feel like this time round, I hadn't really. My thought process hadn't really worked out that Rocket had stolen the batteries, and that's kind of what had caused.
That's what caused everything. Yeah.
And I feel like. Yeah, and there was a bit where Rocket and Yondu were together, and I was a bit like, I got a bit confused how they were together. So it jumped around a fair bit, I found. But when it didn't jump around, I felt the issue then became we had really long stretches of nothing happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is quite a long film. It's another it's another 2+ hour film.
Yeah.
And you know me and long films in the Marvel so far. I've not enjoyed many of them. But I think it's certainly the middle. The last act definitely goes on for that whole when they're trying to kill his dad,
Kill him.
basically. It goes on for fucking ages.
That's my only, and in honesty, in terms of plot, that's my only gripe. The last quarter of the movie goes on for too long.
Yeah.
The wrap up of Ego and defeating Ego and that kind of sequence at the end, it just it's a little bit elongated because it's coming, and that's the thing. you know that ending's coming, and but it's not. Doesn't play out in a way that you kind of. There's no twists and turns. I even thought at the end, Ego goes, look, if you destroy me, you're going to lose the celestial part of you. When I first watched that, I completely missed that. Right, so through this whole time, I've been thinking to myself that he still is part celestial, and that he
Yeah.
still has those powers, but clearly he's lost them. And I think that's a bit of a that's a bit of a shame, because it would have been quite nice to see if he, I don't know, maybe part of Volume 3 is that he kind of finds a way to get it back, and he kind of uses it,
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, he doesn't need it because it's the thing. So, in order to be a celestial, you need your hub, your life force is the planet that you create, or the sphere that you create. And if that's destroyed, then you're fudged. You're no longer a celestial. But I wonder whether he's got that on Earth or something. I don't know without knowing. Or yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Third act, I think. A part of the second act when they what planet are they on? What planet is Peter on? Peter Quill is Ego's planet. That bit for me also was a bit long. It's just I thought there were very long bits in this.
So they did this kind of classic thing on the Volume 2 when you've got a classic team up movie and you're like, right, cool, we had a brilliant team up movie for the first time round. They were all together, busting ass, and it was awesome. This time round, we've got to split them up. And we've got to play with character dynamics, and it's quite clear that's what they did with this one. So they split up Rocket with the rest of the team. And you had this kind of Yondu and Rocket relationship kind of develop as it goes through. But like I found myself, and I don't know, I'd be interested how you feel about this, but I found myself interested more in Quill's storyline than Rocket's. It's when he got put into jail and against the kind of Ravagers thing, Taserface and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, although I because the reason for that was to bring the comedy in, right?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Quill didn't really have the comedy part of it. No. That was the plot. So and I think my favourite. No, because the start of the film is definitely my favourite. Okay, so one of my favourite scenes is definitely when Groot is trying to find Yondu's hairpiece. And he just keeps bringing back different, like that for me was hilarious. And and you could argue that went on a little bit longer than it needed to. Kind of the joke got, but I think actually because Groot was bringing back different stuff every time, it was very funny.
My favourite Groot moment was in the last part of the movie when Rocket gives him the bomb and he goes, you press this button to set the timer off, and he keeps pointing at the wrong place. Wrong button. And then Rocket then asks Quill while he's battling outside, going, have you got any tape? I don't have any tape. And Quill just goes past everybody and asks everybody for tape. And he goes, did you ask, who did he say? Did you ask, it wasn't Gamora, it was Nebula. Nebula. He said, have you asked Nebula for tape? And he was like, well, she was with Gamora. He's like, I heard you didn't ask. Can you going up? It was just this brilliant bit of comedy in the middle of some high stakes action, and you're like, oh, that's just genius, fucking genius. That was my favourite moment for Groot, that's for sure. But like that innocence that Groot brings is one, utterly adorable and a massive hit, as you can see in terms of merchandise. Right? But I think. I think he steals the show, Groot, personally for me. Or Dave Bautista as Drax. It's just brilliant.
You see, so Drax for me, right? And I've got to go back to my notes to see how I worded this. See, Drax is the one person. Drax. It would. Oh, so one of the lines, sorry, before I go on, it would make my nether regions engorge. He says at one moment. I put in mine. It's fucking hilarious. I can't remember what they're talking about at that part. I can't even.
Because he was talking about him and Quill's and Gamora's relationship, and he was like, "Hey, I think he was kind of checking in on how things are going on." And then they were having a conversation about how Drax met his wife because she never laughed.
Oh,
Never
yes.
danced or something like that.
Yeah, never dance. Yeah, dance. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because he says that. He says that Peter Quill's a dancer, right? And Gamora's an on. Yeah, but that made me laugh. But and also the fucking name. I'm so bad with names. Also, not Gamora. Oh my god! How can she not be high up on the? What's the name of the? So Drax, who he eventually likes by the end of the film, he calls her disgusting on the outside.
It's not Mantis, is it?
Is it Mantis? It might well be Mantis. Mantis Guardians.
Hey, if I'm right, this might be the first time I've got a cast
Yeah, it
name
is
right.
Mantis. Well done, bud.
Oh my god, this is a, oh my god, I got it right, listener.
Yes,
Dear
Mantis.
listener, I got it right. Woohoo! Hey!
Yeah.
High five me.
Yeah. Mantis. That exchange, or I maybe pissed myself the whole time. I thought that was really weird. But there were moments for me where they went into the whole what they're doing with Thor, where sometimes it teetered on the edge of caricaturing that character. Drax is really funny, but they push it too far sometimes in Marvel, and it becomes non-believable. And that, whilst we're talking about comedy, unless you got something to add about Drax.
No, go. No, I was just smiling because I think it's I like it when they go a little bit too far.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Me and you are so different in that kind of.
I like it when they push it just a little bit too far. That kind of like Drax's laugh just gets bolder and bolder and bolder every single time. And that moment when he kind of realizes that Quill kind of talks about his undying love or something like that, and he kind of uses that against him in embarrassment, and he points and laughs, and then Mantis touches his head and then laughs with him, and just that kind of moment of comedy is a little bit, it goes on for that edge too long, but I kind of love it because it's that uncomfortable nature that I just like to sit in sometimes as a passive observer. I don't want to be in it personally. If that happened to me, no, like that, get it over with, done with. No. But like as a passive observer, just to see it go on for a little bit too long, so it gets a little bit awkward. Yeah, I'm up for that.
You're just uncomfortable to be around, mate.
I think so. Well, that's probably it, mate. Yeah,
I know that. But yeah, literally, this film is like, the more you think about it, full of my like favourite moments. There's just loads of them. Yeah. But whilst we're talking about comedy moments, the other one is, and I was waiting actually for it to cut because I couldn't remember whether they did hark back to it, but. In the first film, where Rocket constantly gets Quill, I think, to take like prisoners' legs or like body parts, and then for no reason, and then in the end he's just like, "Oh no, I just wanted to see what it was like when he lost his leg," like, oh. And and then they bring it back in this film. I was so happy. So yeah, when Groot's bringing loads of things, he brings, I think it's a scavenger's eye. Yeah. Oh no, actually he doesn't bring it. They talk about it, don't they? And Yondu is like, "Oh, one of the scavengers leaves their eye whilst they sleep," and then Rocket's like, "Bring it back," and Yondu's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because he's gonna wake up and not know where his eye is." It's just, I just love that. And do you watch? No, which show is? What show is that from? I think Parks and Recreation. Ever watch Parks and Rec?
Oh my god, mate! I'm a massive fan of that show. How have we not spoken about this?
Oh my god!
Literally, it's like The Office, Parks and Rec for me, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Those are my totally Trinity triumphant.
Treat yourself! Oh my god!
Treat yourself!
It's Parks and Rec. Isn't there? Oh, I think I've got the wrong show. After all of. Which is the...
What are you talking about? What bit are you talking about? I'm trying to help
you. Basically, it's the person that does pranks, but they do pranks too far every time. So like they're like, oh yeah, maybe we can do this, and then it's like, oh, and then maybe we can just shoot them, and then everyone's like looking at them like, what are you on? And that kind of reminds me of Rocket. But what comedy show is that?
I don't know. I don't think it's Parks and Rec.
No, because the more I was talking, the more I was like, no, it can't be Parks and Rec. It's a bit more of a heightened comedy than that. And they're literally like, oh yeah, maybe we could like, it's not, it isn't The Office, is it? Is it like?
I feel like it might be. There might be a moment where it went a bit too far.
Oh, is it
with
Dwight?
Like Andy or Dwight? Yeah.
Is it Dwight where he like tries to
Sounds like a Dwightism.
poison people or something?
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's it. Where Jim's like, oh yeah, let's do a prank, and then yes.
Oh yeah, when they team up together. Yeah.
And it reminds, yes, that's it. And it reminded me of that. Rocket reminds me a bit of those Dwight scenes.
Oh.
Where it's just like everyone like you got just normal pranks, and then Rocket just comes in with like, yeah, let's take their leg, and like everyone's like, what? It's just proper good. So yeah, really strong on a comedy again with this film. Really
Massively, and I think maybe that, like you say, maybe that was to a fault in some moments, like the dramatic moments. And to be fair, there were a few dramatic moments, in terms of Peter Quill, the realization that he's part Celestial, finding his dad, the relationship between his dad and him, and the bit I really didn't like in terms of one particular scene between him and Ego is when he did the baseball catch sequence in slow motion. I was like, oh, it's a bit. Again, I don't know if it's there deliberately to make us feel uncomfortable because you're like, oh my god, that's so cheesy. That's so fucking like it was eggy. I didn't like it as a moment. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't like, oh my god, it's really wholesome. It's like, no, it's just, I mean, that's really generic. But I think to the detriment of kind of the big heightened comedy moments, the drama kind of fell short a little bit, and that's what I was actually more into. I was actually quite interested in Ego's relationship with Peter Quill, how Ego became Ego, the Celestial, the fact that he says he's a Celestial from a Marvel perspective is a big deal. That is, I don't even know if it's the first time that's been mentioned in terms of a Celestial. I don't think it is, but like, that's the first time that we properly see as a full-blown character a Celestial in a movie, and that. I think that needed a little bit more explanation. And again, because obviously that's at the forefront now, really, in terms of the multiverse of madness and the Eternals. They talk about, Celestials throughout the whole movie. That's going to play a big part in Phase 5 and 6, I'm sure. So I think we probably need a little bit more kind of, okay, well, what is a Celestial? Where do they stand? Where do they sit in terms of the hierarchy of beings? Of which, actually, I've got a list. So I wrote down my notes, because I needed kind of like, okay, actually, where does this lie? So there's kind of, in terms of species and beings and Marvels, at the bottom, we've got humans and aliens, or just outer worldly beings. Yep. And then we've got, above that, is the Inhumans, like Marvel, super soldiers, the clandestines that were featured in Miss Marvel, Chitauri. And then I've put like above that, like Nordic gods, the Egyptian gods, Zeus, all that kind of stuff. So from Thor, Moon Knight, all that kind of stuff. And then above that is Titans. So that's where Thanos is. That's and as well, like Harry Styles' new role, he's a Titan as well. And then above that is then the Eternals and the Deviants, because they were created by the Celestials.
Yeah.
To protect the planets that they were living in.
Yeah.
So the Eternals are there. Then we have above them as Celestials. Then above them is then cosmic entities. Because then what happens, and this is another thing that I think needed a little bit more explanation, is when Ego goes to Peter Quill, I'm going to show you what you need to see. And then he goes, I see it. And his eyes turn into a galaxy, don't they? And he goes, I see it. I see eternity. That's the whole plot of Thor: Love and Thunder at some point, towards the last part of that one. We needed a more explanation on kind of cosmic entities and what they mean to the Celestials, because obviously they are larger than the Celestials. You know, the Celestials have been there since the dawn of time, since the Big Bang. That was established in the movie. But the cosmic entities like eternity, that needs way more explanation, because that's when my brain goes a little bit beyond comprehension, because eternity will soon become a character. And you know, the Celestials that live within that, there just needs to be a little bit more. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Basically, I just feel like there needs to be a little bit more explanation, because it's a bigger picture in those bits.
What is the Sovereign?
In terms of that level, where do they land?
Yeah, where do they land?
I think they're around with the Inhumans and aliens. They're just another race, aren't they? They're just super intelligent.
Could I create a theory, and you absolutely, within your right, tear it down? Obviously, Obadiah Thanos was correct, but no. But I. So as we've been speaking, I've just done a little bit of a Google as well, like, while she was speaking, and so we see Meredith right at the start of the film, who is is Quill's mum, right? Meredith.
Yep.
Now, we see her at the beginning of Guardians 1, as she's dying, right? And she's dying of cancer, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then in this film, we see a younger her driving in with Igor, or Ego. Is it Ego?
Ego.
Ego. I keep adding an R at the end of it. With Ego, and they're driving in a car, right? And she's blonde, like, you know, and it's played by, and I just fucking saw the bloody name, Marvel.
Oh, do you think I can get it right? No, I can't.
Meredith Quill film is portrayed by. Oh, it just came up for me. I didn't even have to look it up before. It's so annoying. Hannah, I think her name was.
Hannah.
Portrayed by Laura, not Anna. Laura Haddock, right, is the actress. Now, I thought when I first saw, well, I say first saw, I've seen this film before, but this time round, saw her. Then we see Elizabeth portraying Aisha, right? Who is the Sovereign.
Yeah.
For me, those two actresses are reasonably similar looking. They're not too far away, right? From looking, and there was when we first see Aisha, it was a part of me that went, oh wow, oh cool, oh okay, yeah, that's Aisha, Sovereign, blah blah blah. Now, this is where my fan theory begins.
Okay.
They are similar looking actresses in the same film. Now, his Peter Quill's dad is
Kurt Russell.
not the actor. Sorry, what is he? You just been talking about the layers.
Celestial.
Celestial, right?
Yeah.
Celestial. And then we have Sovereign. Now, can there be any world where his mum actually, she might have died, or just before she died, could there have been any mischief, given what we know about his dad, which would then mean she didn't die, and she was reborn to a degree, but she is Aisha and the Sovereign. Now, Adam Warlock had a birth pool, right? They birth new ones, and it's obviously not the same actress, and she looks slightly different. But for me, they're both in the same film, and they're not a million miles away. Now, and also it would give reason for the third film to still be looped around his family.
So let me get this right. So you're saying Ego went on Earth, fell in love with Meredith Quill.
Yeah.
and Meredith Quill got cancer and nearly died. You
Or
say,
died.
or died.
One of the two.
And as that happened, Kurt Russell's ego brought her back and made her and revived her, fixed her as a sovereign, and then she became a sovereign.
Or did yeah. Because in this film it's established that Meredith knows about this plant, right? She knows about that thing that's in the ground that ultimately leads to this other dimension, right? These worlds that they live in. So Meredith was already aware, and we don't really know the true extent of how much of this, how much outside of Earth Meredith is aware of and everything around it. Could there be a world in which Aisha is revealed to actually be Meredith?
So you're saying then that Aisha is Quill's mum?
Yeah, because how many layers would that then add? Because they're basically at war together, right? And I suppose that's the unbelievable part, because wouldn't she know that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just saw two very similar actresses, and I thought, well, the Sovereign are coming back into it in a large portion, right, in the third film. And as someone who hasn't read the comics, and is not taking it on face, like Rocket stole a couple of batteries. That's it, right? Then they had a fight with the Sovereign. The Sovereign lost. Aisha's got a lot to convince, probably her people. But if there was an additional layer in there, I wonder whether, I don't know. I'm intrigued to see, because you'd be bringing back Peter Quill's family. You'd add a completely new dimension. Why actually he shouldn't be going against the Sovereign, but he wouldn't know that. And I don't know. It was just, for me, that would, imagine that. Imagine it.
So interestingly, so I've just had a look at the cast for Guardians 3, and Elizabeth Debicki, I think, who plays the role of Aisha in Volume 2.
Yeah.
She is actually credited as Kismet.
Ooh.
Which is I'm just looking. She is known as also known as Paragon and Aisha. So they've kind of changed her name from Aisha to Kismet for whatever reason. I don't know. But I'm also looking at these both, Meredith and Aisha, and they do look similar. Hey, look, mate.
Hey, because you don't put
Never know.
You don't put similar casting in a film. Right, you just don't, like, you don't put actresses or actors that look alike in the same film. And for me, anyway, and this is the thing, I'm kind of like actor background. I'm just overly thinking about this, and I know people are going to listen to this and go, "What are you fucking talking about?" I've read the comics. This wouldn't be, the reason why it's got to be about Adam Warlock. I'm just saying, how much would it add if it was true? And why can't it be true? Because if she has, if Ego has kept her alive, then she might not know who Quill is, because it might have erased her memory. And I don't know. I just think it's one I think about in a what if episode. If Aisha was actually turned out to be Meredith, that's what I'd like.
Well, wow. Mate, okay. I'm on board.
And then because he and then Peter Quill's got a human celestial. He's part human, part celestial, and he's also gotten in for the Sovereign.
Oh.
But yeah, anyway, that was a long detour.
Whoa.
For perhaps something that will definitely never materialise. But with the two actresses, don't you think they look similar?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. They do. I've literally, while you've been talking for about 30 minutes there, mate, I've interrogated their faces. Yeah.
Oh, right. There you go.
Well, no, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on it. I'm with you. I think that would be a good layer. I'd like to see. This is the other thing. I'd like to see Aisha, Kismet, whoever, to play a fundamental role within the next movie. I really enjoyed their scenes. I really enjoyed the Sovereign's part in Volume 2. Again, I didn't realise how much they were in. They were kind of in little flutters throughout the film, but obviously it's going to be an integral part of Volume 3, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to. And again, so the Sovereign have been in the works of creating this perfect specimen that was spoken about in the first scene of Volume 2, and then it kind of gets revealed at the end that she's been working on this, and she's kind of apparently, it looks like things have gone very wrong for the Sovereign. Obviously, they got their batteries stolen from them. The Guardians stole some of their stuff. That's a massive blunder from the Sovereign, because they're supposed to be these really smart, holier than thou, people, species, and they shouldn't be disrespected like that. So Aisha is currently in the dumps after Volume 2, and she goes, "Oh, actually, well, I'll tell you what. If this perfect specimen works out, this might be our saving grace." And at that point, she then says, "I'm going to name him Adam," and then boom, that's the end of Volume Part 2. And I was like, I'm so excited about Part 3.
And we get Baby Rocket.
We do. We get a Rocket. I think we're going to lose Rocket. This is the other thing. So there's a theory out there. I don't know if you've heard this. The logos of the Guardians movies. So the first one was kind of brown in terms of its logo, and obviously we lost Groot in the first one, only for him to be rebirthed. And then in the second one, it's kind of blue and red, I think, in terms of its logo. And obviously we lose Yondu.
Yeah.
In the Part 2, and actually that's worth mentioning now. I that moment when he lifts him up and he said, "He may be your father, but he wasn't your daddy." Like, that's such just such a brilliant, iconic line, and it broke my heart. And just seeing him die, it was just.
Can I just say, the funeral was. Oh my god, the scavenger ships.
Yeah.
That was, and the thing is, that was genuinely upsetting.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm watching a Marvel film where the guy in another world is dying and his ships with fireworks.
Michael Rooker is brilliant.
He's brilliant. He's insane. And Michael, as a Walking Dead fan, Michael Rooker is insane in The Walking Dead as well.
Is it Merle he plays? Is it Merle?
Merle, yeah. Merle.
Daryl's brother. Oh my god, he was absolutely brilliant in that show.
He's amazing. He's insane. He was in Christ, wasn't he in the second Zombieland? Film as well.
Yeah.
He's cracking in that. Yeah, he's just generally brilliant. But yeah, the funeral.
That's definitely worth mentioning. Yeah, so that was such a brilliant moment. But then in the third movie, in terms of a logo, it's white and brown, I think, or something like that. It's of the colours of Rocket. And people think that we're getting lots of backstory about Rocket and the fact that he was a science experiment gone wrong, all that kind of thing. We'll lose Rocket at the end of this movie, and I think that's kind of a given. I feel like it's going to happen.
I don't know, really. I feel now I'm looking at it from the franchise point of view, and I'm thinking far too popular in the films.
There won't be another one after this. There's no. I think that's been confirmed, hasn't it? I feel like it's been confirmed.
Is the Last Guardian, but even if it is the Last Guardians, I can't imagine they're not going to be in other films. And if they are going to be in other films, I can't imagine that they're getting rid of Rocket. He's so like the Guardians for me. Yeah. What colour did you say the newest logo was?
Let me double check.
Our fact checker Matt Jewson is on the mission.
Guardians 3, yeah. So it's kind of like a brown, gold, and white thing.
So could it be? So I've got to get this up myself now. Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, see, Volume 2 was bright blue and gold and red. And Guardians 1 was, like earthy brown.
Yeah, so, I mean, Guardians of the third logo is, for me, that's just celestial colours, right? That is just
Yeah.
Adam Warlock kind of. But also, I would think if they're going to get rid of anyone, it will be Drax. Yeah, I think I've got to. Yeah, Drax. I don't know. I know. I've seen it. I've seen the theory. Appreciate it. Backstory, logo. You know, there's a lot. But I just don't. He's so, unless they really are prepared to call it a day with the Guardians after this. If they are, if that's it, if that is properly it.
Well, so I've just had, so IGN pretty much confirmed, I had an interview with James Gunn not a few months ago, and James Gunn's pretty much confirmed that he does not intend to do a fourth Guardians movie. And prior to that as well, Dave Bautista put out a post, I think on Twitter and social media, that he's going to not be Drax again after the third one.
But he was.
So that kind of either reaffirms your theory, or there definitely won't be a fourth one.
James Gunn has said he's not doing a fourth Guardians film.
I mean, if there's a fourth Guardians movie without James Gunn, it's not fucking worth watching, mate.
No, but in all fairness, he's done his trilogy. So actually, isn't it time to give it to somebody else?
Oh, mate, I would. If I was a director, I wouldn't want to touch that because that's golden. It's like picking up Christopher Nolan's trilogy and deciding to do a fourth one with Christian Bale.
But not if you're going to get rid of a couple of characters. So if you do get rid of Drax, I don't know. I feel like Guardians is such a fucking like it is a golden. It's gold, right? In Marvel, there is no way on earth MCU are getting rid of Guardians. Especially now, right? Got rid of Tony Stark. They got rid of Captain America. There's a lot of criticism about the MCU at the moment, and I would almost go as far as to say, outside of possibly Spider-Man, but even Spider-Man, we don't know where the fuck that's headed now. No. So this is their only huge deal now that they can.
It's kind of their guarantee, isn't it? It's their guarantee they're going to make a success out of this.
So why on earth would they throw that away? Like, I'm sorry, James Gunn or no one.
I'll be honest, mate.
They're bringing it back.
They could probably throw Guardians away at any given point. Just considering how everything's going, honestly, because this is it. It feels like we're in a transitional phase right now with MCU. All right, if we're talking about football teams, right now we're Liverpool. All right.
I don't even get that reference, but I know it's funny.
Dear listener, if you're a football fan, you'll probably go, "Oh yeah, no, you're right, Matt. That's spot on." But there's this transitional phase where we're introducing more team up movies as well. We've still got a Fantastic Four movie that's meant to be coming out soon. That might be the new Guardians in terms of its tone. They might shift all of that kind of tone to to Fantastic Four. Equally, Deadpool will probably be that comedy relief as well. We've also got Inhumans. We've got things that are coming left, right, and centre in terms of team up movies that they might rely upon. Future.
Well, here you go, Matt. Here's your Instagram reel footage. Do you think this is the end? Oh no, not this is. Do you think after Guardians 3, this is the end of the Guardians? I am so far on there is fucking no possible way they would click the suicide bomb button.
I don't. I think it is. I think after the third one, that's it.
No, mate.
Chris Pratt's been cancelled. Dave Bautista pretty much said he's not going to do it anymore. James Gunn said he's out and he doesn't want to do a fourth one. I honestly...
Drax dead. James Gunn changes to any other director. Not any other director. That's a horror. Like, James Gunn is sick. But there are other directors that could get it. And to be honest, may I propose this as an alternative? Could it be, so Waititi, we can't say his fucking name between us. Taka Waititi,
Waititi.
Krata Koniki, our good old friend, Papa, whatever his name is.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi. Could it be that Taika has fucked with Thor so much, and the last film panned, quite frankly, critically, but Marvel evidently love him as a director, quite unlike you, and millions of people love his work. And there are particular works of his that I love as well. Could it be they bring him over to Guardians, which is more in line with his style of work anyway, and he takes over and does another film, and then they give Thor to a more middle ground director who finds a balance between
You're dreaming big, my friend. You're dreaming way too big. You're blue sky thinking, my friend. It's too blue, it's too sunny. But what I will say is this.
Here we go.
K-Dog, I want you to listen up. All right, you listening, Mr. Feige? Yeah, I called you Mr. Feige. All right. So, Guardians 3, you've finished. You're done with James Gunn. Dave Bautista, I don't want his laugh anyway. I tell you what, we've got 2 budding directors on the Don't Be a Hero podcast, ready to take the reins of Guardians Part 4, Volume 4. Just think about it, K-Dog. Just think about it.
It's a Matt J NFM production, mate.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, we'll do it. We'll take it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Do you know what I'll just do? I'll recast Peter Quill for me. I'll be Peter Quill, just so I've got we'll bring back hopefully Gamora will be back. So Zoe Saldana will be a love interest for Peter Quill still, and then I can take that role willingly, professionally, obviously, but willingly take that.
I'm gonna go, and also if they get rid of Rocket, I want him to somehow be tracked. Bearing in mind we've got this is me going so far out of fucking box. But Deadpool 3, we're getting Wolverine, who we think is dead, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Rocket, kill Rocket. Let's have Rocket in a Deadpool film as well. Let's go.
That'd be cool.
Could you imagine Deadpool, Wolverine, and Rocket?
Oh, that'd be great.
Would be a fucking hilarious film. That would just be, yeah. Oh, in fact, if you can find some fan fiction that pops those 3 characters together.
Speaking of Rocket, my friend, it's like you know me. It's like you know me so well.
We're the same person, bud.
So just kind of, as I feel like we're wrapping up Guardians because we've got a bit of news to talk about as well at the end of the pod, and some special mentions as well. But speaking about Rocket, my friend, I have collected just immediately a poem. Another poem. And I think it's from the same person. I think Smart Kira. I don't know if that was. I think you did the poem for Doctor Strange last week. But here's a lovely, gorgeous poem about our dear Rocket, and it is entitled "A Rocket Poem."
Oh wow! Fuck. So far, incredibly inventive.
Thank you. A rocket poem. Don't ever call me cute and cuddly. I absolutely hate it. It makes my blood boil when anybody says it, because he's the best marksman in the galaxy. There is no weapon he doesn't know how to use. And scene. That's it.
Kenneth Branagh, eat your heart out. That is, honestly, that is, what a word of a time.
I kind of thought there was going to be more, but I've scrolled down and nope, there's literally just 4 lines.
I almost thought a bit of Alan Rickman there. Alan Rickman delivery there.
Thank you. I'll take that any day. But okay, so just special mentions for me in terms of this movie. Sylvester Stallone, great to see him as a cameo in the movie, and I hope to see him again in part 3, volume 3. Sorry. I thought it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, he was great and he was brilliant, but I don't want to. Sylvester Stallone, you stay
Get in the bin.
put, mate.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah, I get that. I also thoroughly enjoyed. We haven't spoken about him in a few movies. Stan Lee's cameo
Oh
is
yeah.
chef's kiss. It is the best one, and it's beautiful.
Who are those people?
Well, my friend, they are the Watchers, and the Watchers
Loki.
feature in What If?
Oh. No, but they are in Loki.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are.
The Watchers are in the room. They're in the room watching. Literally, they're doing their job, mate.
But aren't they like pretend Watchers? Aren't they like robots at the end? Aren't they revealed to be robots? I don't know. We have to watch when we get to Loki. We'll watch it and we'll talk about it. Yeah. But yeah, the Watchers are. That's the first time they're featured, and obviously they play heavily in the What If series as well.
Which we also need to watch.
Yes, we do.
So much.
So much. I think it's great. I think that kind of moment, and he talks about him being a postman as well and on the earth, and he is so it kind of confirms that Stanley plays the same character, I think, loosely. I think very loosely in each movie, but great cameo. Just performances across the board were great. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I loved it. I genuinely loved it.
A little bit of... I didn't know this, but have you ever watched This Is Us?
No.
I mean, you and Ray, if you want this, I know this very different vibe, but if you like a very good written drama,
oh, yeah, we do.
Watch This Is Us.
We've just finished Only Murders in the Building, and I can recommend that.
Ooh.
And we need to watch something else. That might be it.
Yeah, This Is Us, American series, absolutely, like possibly one of the finest programs of this century so far. It is fantastically written. So fully recommend that to you anyway. But for This Is Us, any This Is Us fans, I did not know that Taserface is played by an actor called Chris Sullivan. Now, Chris Sullivan in This Is Us plays my favourite of the characters, Toby. So, Chris, if you're listening, I rate you. I admire you.
Ooh.
And quite frankly, we'd definitely go for a pint together.
Oh.
And also, I'm looking at my own face right now, and I've got a little bit of a Chris Sullivan vibe.
You do, actually. I
look a little bit like him as well, actually.
What? Yes, you look like Taserface, mate. Yeah.
Have you seen the actor?
Yeah, I've seen the cast photo. Yeah, you do look like
so
him.
we look quite similar. So I feel like Mr. Sullivan, brother or another mother. Let's go out. Let's get a drink together. See where the night takes us.
Forest.
That was. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, listener. I'm so sorry.
Now.
I'm so sorry, dear listener. How many quavers are you giving this, mate? How many? Come on.
It's reaching inside my packet.
You're reaching inside. You've opened it up. Is it full? Is it empty? That's what we want to know. Come on.
Let me have a look.
A
little peep in my...
He's having a little peek.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, please get that footage on Insta.
That's definitely going on.
3/4 full.
That's good.
3/4.
That's a good bag.
This is a strong bag.
Sizable.
The missing 25% for me would be overly long Act 3. Didn't need to be that long. And slight scenes that kind of lose their way. They just needed to trim the fat a bit more in this film.
I am with you on that. It's definitely 3/4 for me as well. It definitely surpasses the first one by long shots.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, for me. It's one of my favourite Phase 3 movies. It's got to be top 3 with the obvious other two. And yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. That's right up there.
Ant-Man and the Wasp and Doctor Strange, number 1 and number 2.
100%. Yeah, no, it's great. I loved it. It was very funny. Again, if there was just a little bit too much comedy at points, just to that kind of overshadowed the drama. But that, 3/4.
Oh, amazing. And quickly before we do any more announcements, next week, which film are we tackling? Do you know?
Oh my god, do you know what, mate? Do you know what? I actually haven't got any recollection of how Phase 3 is laid out. And just remember, dear listener, if you're listening to this for the very first time, you're thinking, what the hell are they doing? We are going through each Marvel MCU movie in release, date of release, okay? So yeah, we've just kicked off with Phase 3, obviously. So I'm going to say, I think it's Captain Marvel, but I think I'm definitely wrong.
Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, my friend.
Oh, okay, fair dues.
But if I say he might be a neighbourly friend of yours.
Oh, is it Spider-Man?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
yes, it is.
Oh, amazing. We've got the introduction for Tom Holland.
Spider-Man
his first solo movie.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Hot Aunt May are making a rock up.
Wow.
Yeah,
I have gripes with that movie.
Do you? Okay, to be fair, I can't fully remember it all.
Yep.
So I think I need to go. I'm interested to watch this one because I think this one, it feels like a long time. Can't really think about it. I think we've had so many Spider-Man films that actually it's quite hard to go back and think, oh yeah, what was the very first one like?
Oh, looking forward to that though. That sounds brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. We got Spider-Man next couple of weeks. We've got Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yep.
Then we've got maybe controversial city, Thor Ragnarok, because you thoroughly love, and I couldn't even finish. So I have to finish it this time, and I will watch it all. And we will have a very big chat about that. Who knows? I could come out of it absolutely loving it.
I enjoyed Guardians 2 much more than recently, just now when I watched it, than I thought I did. So I'm interested to see how I enjoy Thor Ragnarok. But I do remember watching Thor Ragnarok and being like, oh my god, that's far better than Guardians 2. So I wonder whether I'm going to be still of that kind of opinion when it comes to it.
Interesting. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Then we got Black Panther, which I'm really looking forward to it. It's an amazing film. So looking forward to that. And then we get to Avengers Infinity War, which is just going to be insane. So we got loads. We've got so many films in this phase. We got some TV shows that we got to go to. So we are going to be busy on the run up to Crimbo, in which we are definitely doing a Christmas film.
We absolutely are. And I'm just going to go out and say it. We're going to do a Christmas special as well. We'll do a little Christmas upload on Christmas Day for you guys, my dear listeners. But maybe we could do something really special, do something funny. Maybe we could do it in person, and Forrest and I can get absolutely wasted when we do it.
Ding dong, merrily on high.
Fuck yeah! Let's get the mulled wine out and the mince pies. Let's go to town.
All in the name of Jesus Christ. Boom. That's what I can't wait. We definitely got to do that. But Matt,
yes.
Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, what are we up to this month, my friend?
Oh my good lord, we've got an announcement. So me and Forrest are going to be at MCM Comic-Con London on Saturday. I want to say it's the right date, the 29th of October, which is in a few weeks' time, kind of a couple of weeks from Saturday. And we'll be there. We've got there a day access to come and talk to anyone that's in cosplay, anyone that's an MCU fan. We're going to interview people, we're going to talk to people, we're going to get people's thoughts, and just have a jolly old merry time. I'm going to go in there with an intention to buy a couple of cool things.
And to be fair, what I hope is that we stumble across one of our listeners. Would just
that'd be amazing.
An absolute dreamboat.
So if you're listening right now, dear listener, and you're going to be there as well, please, God, just let us know. Just send us a little DM on Instagram or Twitter, or send us an email. So you're going to be there. We can meet up, we have a chat, and we'll have a lovely jolly time. It's my third time going to MCM Comic Con. Have you ever been before, Forrest?
I've never been.
It's great.
So only thing I've ever done is volunteered for Walker Stalker Con, which is the Walking Dead convention,
Yeah.
which it doesn't happen anymore, but it used to be fantastic.
Nice.
And obviously Comic-Con is going to be like 50 times that
massive.
event. So I cannot wait. I'm thoroughly excited. We're going to have our t-shirts on. Don't Be a Hero podcast tees. And I'm absolutely pumped, mate. What I hope is that Bob from Belgium comes to the UK
God, yeah.
and rocks up, mate. Or Kevin, our good friend, goes, bloody hell, guys. So Don't Be a Hero. He's going to be more starstruck than we are. He just can't be. He won't believe his luck. So our good old friend Kev Bomb will be there. But yes, no, absolutely. Do let us know if you're going to be there. DM us if you're a little bit too keen. We'll see whether it's worth meeting up with you. But yeah, do let us know if you're going to be there. What's better if you're going to be in cosplay? Awesome. Let us know what the cosplay is. We'll give you a little, bit of promotion. I don't know what that was. Bit of promotion is what I was
in the face. I don't like.
We'll knock your fucking lights out. No. Give you some promotion. But yes.
Yeah, can't wait. It's going to be great. We're really looking forward to it. Again, we want to kind of do these kind of things more often as well. So it feels like it's a really perfect space to sort of talk to people, do a little bonus episode again, like we did with our local one here in Colchester not a few months ago. But yeah, let us know if you're going to be there. Also, I just want to say as well, we've kind of gained quite a few listeners and followers over the last few weeks as well on Instagram. If you're new, thank you so much for following and listening to us. This is, again, still very much my highlight of my week. So yeah, thanks.
Oh, mate.
Yeah,
it's always beauty. Don't Be a Hero podcast at gmail.com. Still looking forward to your emails. We have had one from Nathan actually.
Have you? Have you? Well, we've got time. Let's do some emails. Come on.
Alrighty, let's get that.
Well, while Forrest is doing that, in terms of like our engagement, we've got some awesome podcasts that we're also just been connected to throughout the weeks. So I'm just very quickly right now just going to give people a random shout out. Matt and Movies, you got a good name. I have that name too. Thank you for following to us. We've got Fragment of Movies. Thank you for following. We've got Van's World Podcast. Thank you for following. We've got Fake Gamer Girl Pod. Thank you so much for following. We've got Horror Collectors _Spain. Thank you for following. We've got The Film Bartender. Thank you so much for following and liking all of our things, because I can just see you've just literally liked everything. So big up you, my friend. Thank you so much. Make sure you check them out. Also, as well, thank you so much. Multiverse of Badness. I mean, what a name.
What a strong name there. Multiverse of
Badness. But there's so many more, and I need to figure out a good way of kind of giving everybody a due kind of shout out as we get through the weeks. But thank you so much for everybody that's following.
And Nathan, our good friend Nathan, has emailed in Age of Ultron thoughts. So he's slightly behind, but he's gone another cracking listen, chaps. Nice to hear Age of Ultron getting some positive comments, as it's often left at the bottom of the Avengers pile. But I think that's just because the other three are so good.
Yep. Fair.
He says, the good team dynamic and action. We got to see the whole film with them assembling, but it's great to see them working together properly. Everyone looks awesome. Some of the best Avengers suits in this film. I think you mentioned Captain. Cap's.
Cap's suit. It's. Yeah. I mean, here we go. Look, that it was kind of like that was meant to happen. That moment.
Oh, look at that little segue. Yeah.
Talk about Cap's suit. I put on Cap's hat.
Oh, he puts on a cap.
Hello.
Oh, and he's lighting up like a Christmas tree. Yeah. There's a lot of video footage in this episode, which is wonderful to see.
Anyway, carry on.
Introduction to Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, I felt was done really well, aside from the accent. Yes. I'll have to watch out for the hair changes, though, Forrest. Did I mention hair change? I must have mentioned hair
maybe
changes.
I mentioned hair.
Oh, maybe.
I did. I think I did.
Yeah,
in terms of Wanda's hair, going from being really nice to being frizzy to then being like, oh, there's no cohesion there with with the hair situation.
Yeah. James Spader's Ultron voice was epic. I love the scene when he is first revealed. Yes, one of the finest scenes when he's first revealed and he walks out like a little puppet. Pinocchio. Great Hawkeye content for once. Yes. The bad. Pacing is terrible in the second third of the movie, with the worst culprit being Thor's side quest. We mentioned this.
We mentioned that, yeah.
There was originally an additional character here, some female spirit lady. She appears in the trailer, and I believe in the original cut, Thor was possessed by her, and Selvig was in charge of interviewing her through Thor and recording it to get the answers. But it was cut down so much that we were left with not very much, and Selvig carrying a box of things he doesn't use. Interesting.
Interesting. That's a bit hashy, isn't it?
That's a bit, yeah. This one has a bit too much Joss Whedon quippiness in it for me. Even Hydra agents lying shot on the floor and making jokes. Can't remember that. But that said, there are also some really good ones in it. And there, here we go. He goes, Matt's theory about Thanos and Ultron being connected is interesting.
Oh, okay.
Nathan had always thought Ultron was aware that Thanos was out there because he knows everything humanity knows, and Iron Man saw the Chitauri and Dark Esther ships when he took the missile through the wormhole in Avengers 1. So that information would have been passed on. I wouldn't say it goes as far as Thanos being in control of Ultron though. I'd always thought Thanos' fine, I'll do it myself was in relation to Loki failing with the Mind Stone, Ronan failing with the Power Stone, and as we later find out, Gamora and Nebula failing with the Soul Stone. Which is kind of what we were talking about, I think.
Yeah.
I think that line, yeah, fair enough. This one is 17th on my ranking. Although it has some of my favourite moments, it's not as well paced and a bit bitty compared to a lot of the other bits in the canon. Time for me to do some catching up. I better do a Don't Be a Hero podcast binge.
Yeah, you should, my friend.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, you should. That's a great email. That's a great email. And again, dear listener, if you haven't listened to that episode, do make sure you go back to listen to it. Again, you know, it was a good episode, actually. I think we've spoken about a lot. And again, I still hold tight to that theory. I really do. I think it's great. I think it works. I think it works. But like, you know,
fantastic. I like your theories. I like them.
Thanks, my friend.
I like it a lot.
Do you know what? Talking about theories and opinions, just to finish up, on Instagram yesterday, we put out a poll and we were talking about Doctor Strange. And much as obviously we had difficulties with Doctor Strange, there was a comparison between the origin stories of Doctor Strange and Batman Begins in terms of how they kind of get their abilities and stuff. And I kind of asked a poll on whose origin story was better, whether it was Doctor Strange or is it Batman Begins. And we had loads of votes. We had, let me just do a title, actually, because we had nearly 300 votes on this poll. And do you know what? I'm quite surprised by this. It is very, very, very tight. But Doctor Strange clinched it by 52% on... you know, the vote of it being a better origin story than Batman Begins, which I disagree personally. I think Batman Begins was pretty good. But, yeah.
Madness.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can't get on board with that. Doctor Strange, pile of shit. But, yeah, you're welcome to you. Welcome to your wrong opinions, people. But
you're wrong.
You're wrong. Yeah, I can't even compare the Batman films to that. You're having a laugh. But yes. Anyway, on that note,
my friend,
it has been honestly, Matt. It's cool. It's lovely to see you.
It's a joy. It's an absolute joy.
Oh, mate, I love the way your hair quiffs at the top.
Brings a tear to my eye. All right. Mate. Anyway, I'm gonna play you out. The sun is shining in the sky. Boom. No man do. Ba-da-da-da.